from my school, from Paraflix, from bathroom walls across America. But let us pass it on to my beautiful co-hosts, starting with the dapper Richard Lale.
I am Richard Layell. Richard Layell is one name, not two names. If I were just a Richard, I'd be. That's right. I am known as the Gentleman Psychic. I am also on Ghost Adventures a couple of times. I am at University of Magicus. I am all over. I'm everywhere. I'm really easy to find. Also, by the by, while we're here, if you would like to sleep with me, you can grab my pillow at mrcontrol.com. At some point, you might be able to get back into Patty's panties, but right now they are on hold. So, but you can be a bro witch. You can read Heather Green's books. You could read 10 of Jason Mankey's books. You can read Dollcraft. You can get our quotes. You can do all kinds of things. Join the Coven. Also hit the like and subscribe. It really goes a long way. Also, we see your comments and we love them. Keep them coming.
Yes, thank you very much. Moving on to the beautiful Heather Green.
Hi, that's me. I am Heather Green. I am the author of Lights, Camera, Witchcraft, which is right here. And it is a critical history of witches in American film and television. I am also I always do that. I am also a journalist covering all things occult, and I am a editor at Llewellyn Worldwide, working with wonderful authors, some of which are here, and some of which show up in our chat coven as well. Yes, Dollcraft, that's one of them for sure.
Thank you very much. And to the golden hair locks of Jason Mankey.
I am Jason Mankey. I can be found at bookstores all across America. Author of 10 books, including this, The Witch's Book of Spellcraft. Yeah, I'm also tonight a wrangler of goats.
We are goat wranglers indeed. And you may recognize her, one of our absolutely favorite fill-in today, the one and only Jenny C. Bell, wearing her proper cape. Welcome, Jenny.
Hello, I'm Jenny C. Bell. I have made a return after being basically fired last time. So I'm a little bit like in disguise this week. I am the author of 2 books. One of them, Divergent Witchcraft, is coming out in June.
Thank you very much.
Desperate times called for desperate measures, I guess.
Unfortunately, our beautiful Courtney has befallen children's germs again, and she is home without a voice right now. We wish her well. We send her lots of magic and love. And we also want to thank our fellow Coven member, Tabitha, who is witching out our chat room for us. So Tabitha, right there, Miss Tabitha Meadows, a psychic medium. And we want you guys in the chat room. So today's movie, again, is Chocolat. Hopefully you guys all watched it. But if not, just in case you didn't watch it, Richard Lale, do you have an unbiased synopsis of this chocolate?
And do I have an unbiased synopsis? But first, no, I'm not going to do it. I was going to put this chocolate in my mouth, and then I was going to nom, 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 nom the entire time, but I'm not going to do that because that's disgusting. But I will tell you about tonight's movie. So there goes the baker with the bread like always.
The same old bread and rolls to sell.
Yeah, something. The provincial town. Long story short, this woman and her daughter have followed the north wind, and they have always sought for home, but it is always the same story. They go into a place and they are no longer welcomed, and then the north wind is restless and they must move on. Well, it just so happens they move into this small provincial town, which is incredibly conservative. And the comte, the mayor, as he would, is trying to drive away immorality. And the immorality is that she is an unwed mother, and she is opening a chocolat shop on Lent, on a time that you are supposed to be giving up things. And then to make matters worse, she does not attend church, and she wants to have some sort of pagan festival on Easter. And so through all of these things, everyone seems to want to push her away because, of course, the Lord Mayor is breathing down her neck and controlling the young priest to be more hellfire and brimstone against the guiles of Satan in the form of chocolate. Well, she ends up by convincing her landlord is the first person who sort of friends her, and she finds out that her the landlord's grandson is estranged from her. Her daughter has removed all visiting rights, and she restricts her son from seeing the grandmother. One thing leads to another, and then there are Pirates of the Caribbean. I mean, they're not, but they are, but they're not. They're actually Romney people, and it's not Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. It is Johnny Depp, who is a Romney pirate, who is a riverboat dweller. Long story short, the people do not want him there either because he represents decay and he takes on work inside the shop. There is a brief romance. A fire on the boat happens. One of the neighbor girls has now, I forgot about that part. She works for the shop. She left her husband. At the end, the woman decides she's going to leave because everything is just the same. She's going to leave, but then is convinced by the townsfolk that have come around that she should stay. And not only that, but on the night before Easter, the mayor has decided he's going to go pray to God and decide what he has to do. And unfortunately, he breaks into the shop and he smashes the chocolate, and a little chocolate gets in his mouth, and then he goes on a bender all night long, devouring chocolate, and he crashes in a fit of rage and sort of hatred for himself for allowing sin into his life. But then the chocolatier has come to him and said, "No, I won't tell anyone. Just drink this; it'll make you feel better." And the next thing is that the town is beautiful, and the abused woman has renamed the cafe to Cafe Armand. The pirate has come back, even though his boat has been burned, and everyone sort of lives not happily ever after, but they live and they enjoy the chocolate, and that's it.
Beautiful. Thank you very much, Chocolat. Now, Heather, our academic girl here, do we have 5 more things perhaps about this yummy film?
Yeah. Let's talk about a few things. It's a 2000 film. It was directed by, and I'm going to pronounce this wrong, Lasse Holstrom, who did most of ABBA's videos. He's a Swedish director. My Life as a Dog and What is Eating Gilbert Grape and Cider House Rules. So a pretty respected and known director from Sweden. It was a 1999 novel, and we'll get to that in a second. The screenplay is by Robert Nelson Jacobs. It earned 5 nominations for an Academy Award. It did not win any of them. Some of those were, let's see, Best Film, Supporting Actress, Score, and Screenplays, but it didn't win any of those. It was shot mostly in England and France. Its budget was $25 million. It only opened originally in 8 theaters. And those, so it didn't earn that much right out of the starting gate, but eventually earned domestically $71 million and way more, double that worldwide. So in the end, it was a huge success, but they opened it in a few theaters on purpose. So context, this is really important. I haven't done context in a while. So context, this is one of the witchy adjacent or witch films that is a definite and a reaction to the Satanic Panic. So the Satanic Panic more or less ends by the mid 90s. You start to see it 99, 94, 95, 96 is when you start to see it work its way out of television and film. And by this period of time, you're starting to see the reaction. The films that condemn extremism, specifically religious extremism, or any type of constrictive culture or society, and in favor of something a little bit more different, a little embracing of difference, embracing of oddity, art, music, fun. You start to see this. Of course, this wraps into the growing interest in witch films of the late 90s. A similar film you might think of from this time is 1990 Practical Magic, which had a very similar theme. You have a small town that's very constrictive, and it eventually in the end releases itself and embraces magic and has fun and all that kind of good stuff. So you see a lot of this happening in the late 90s in reaction to the moral panic of the 80s and early 90s. And remember, just one other thing, Wicked was written at this time, another film that deals in this topic. The book was written, of course, the play was the play was 2003, so just a few years later. It's important to know that. Now, the cast, this is a big factor in a cast, in a character-driven story. The cast is huge here. Juliette Binoche, we haven't seen her yet. I don't believe she was very well known at the time. Unbearable Lightness of Being, English Patient. You have Dame Judi Dench, one of my favorite actresses. I don't even know I would not be able to list the number of movies that she is fantastic in or in at all. She did get an Academy Award for Best Actress of Shakespeare in Love, Tomorrow Never Dies. But if you look at these films, you see how versatile she is. Ladies in Lavender, A Room with the View, Cats. Oh my goodness, I don't even know how she has that on her resume. Spirited, which is recent, and one of my favorite movies, Best Exotic Marigold Hotel, if you haven't seen that one. But she's in so many others. Please check her out if you don't know her. She's considered one of the best British actresses of all time. Alfred Molina, you might know him. We just saw him in as Horvath in The Sorcerer's Apprentice when we did that. It's, I think, the only time we've seen him, but he was in Spider-Man 2. He was in Raiders of the Lost Ark. He did a voice in Rango, Frida. Spider-Man, yes, I said Spider-Man.
I'm just cheering Spider-Man.
Oh, so you're just cheering.
He's so good in Spider-Man too. Sorry.
Yeah, I always have to throw that in when I see it just for you, Jason. But yes, he was good. He's good. There he is. Look at him, so young in Raiders. Oh my goodness, crazy. So he's been in so many places. You've seen his face. Lena Olin, she is the wife that left her husband. Ninth Gate, Unbearable Lightness of Being, Remember Me. If you have not seen Remember Me, I'm not going to tell you what it's about. If you have seen it, don't tell anybody what it's about because it's a very, 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 very impactful film. We'll say that. She's also plays Hilma, and I think this is maybe something we'll do in the future in the Hilma documentary or film about the artist who is the mother of abstract painting. She wrote by automatic writing. She was really into Spiritism at the time, so it's this pretty cool segue there. Peter Stormare, Swedish. He played in Fargo, Armageddon. He's the husband. You probably recognize his face. He shows up. Where is he? There he is, over in the side. John Wood, he is our dapper love interest. He is another British actor. There he is, familiar face, possibly. He was in War Games way back in the day. He unfortunately passed away in 2011. Carrie Ann Moss, and if big Matrix fans might have recognized her face. Carrie, there she is on the bottom. And Leslie Caron, I was so delighted as a classic film person to see Leslie Caron. It's just so darling. I think of her, I think of American in Paris, I think of Gigi, her dancing, and all of those old films that she did back in the day. Of course, she is the love interest. And I have lost my piece of paper to skip on. Where the heck did it go? Well, I'm doing the next one's blind. So number 4, Johnny Depp. I had to do him all by himself. He does not win the award for the actor we have mentioned the most on this show. But he is one that comes up frequently. I think we've done 4 or 5. We've films that he's been in. Did we do Alice in Wonderland? I can't remember. We did, of course, Dark Shadows. We did
Early in the Chocolate Factory.
Yes. The Chocolate Factory, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. We saw him in Into the Woods. I think we did Into the Woods. He is so versatile and so over everywhere. He started in 1994. I totally forgot the Ninth Gate that was just put up too. He started in, I believe it was 1984. I forgot he was in Platoon, Nightmare on Elm Street. I forgot he was that young, of course. Then he just started spinning, and this one comes in sort of right as that intense love affair begins with him. It's after Betty and June and Who's Eating Gilbert Grape and those, but it's before the Pirates movies. So it's right in the center. It's right when everyone started to just fall in love with him in all kinds of ways. I think it was Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas was already done by this point. So it's a really interesting time, right in the center of all of that. There he is. Oh my goodness, look at him, so young. So, and I think I just saw his latest film, 2026. He plays Louis I believe it's 15th. I can't remember the name of the film right now. It's the name of the woman.
Madame
Jean
de Berry.
Yeah, Jean de Berry. Yes. So I just watched him in that. He was excellent. Of course, he's always excellent. So I think everybody probably has a favorite Johnny
Depp.
Johnny Depp, thank you. Everybody has a favorite Johnny Depp movie, and so that would be my next question. But before we do that, I do want to mention that this was a book, and of course, I'm flying blind here without my notes. So I am going to. Her name is Joanne. Hold on. Sorry, guys. My paper is gone.
Look under your book. Tabitha psychically said, "Look under your book."
No, it's
Joanne
not.
Harris.
I think it's over. I think it's probably
Harris.
spelled by my desk. So, I'm sorry.
Joanne Harris.
There you go, Joanne Harris. So I'm terrible with remembering names without my notes. So Joanne Harris wrote this book. I did not read it. It was written and released just a short time before the movie, and she actually did love the movie. The film doesn't vary a whole lot, just a little bit, but some of the characterizations I heard were good, but she was fine with it. There are sequels. The sequels are, again, names are escaping me, but there is 4 sequels, and she just released most recently a prequel that talks about Vivian the character of what happens before this movie. So she's kind of reinvented. There it is. There's Chocolat. She was surprised because she was really told her writing wasn't good and that nobody would want to read a book about Chocolat in a small village in France. Well, she was wrong, and they made a movie shortly after. But again, she loved the movie and was very pleased with it. And a couple people, the buzz around this particular prequel says there is movie possibilities for it. So we may actually see Chocolat come back in prequel form. They're the other ones. Strawberry Thief, Lollipop. I think Lollipop Shoes was second. And then there was another one, and then the Strawberry Thief, if I remember correctly. Oh, Peaches was the third one in the series. I have not read any of them. And I think that's it. I did want to mention the Mayan thing, and but I think I'll let you guys talk, and I can mention that in a little bit. That's it. I'm done.
Thank you. I know I'd seen it before, but I didn't remember most of it as my brain works. I should have been sleepy and I wasn't sleepy. And it kind of is a long movie, and it still held me. Just the performances, the characters, I don't know. It was like 2 a.m. and I'm like, I should be asleep, and I wasn't. So just for me, I was entertained. I was kept awake. This is one of my favorite movies that we've done in a while. Yeah, sweet. And makes me want to eat chocolate.
Yeah.
So, Amy, chocolate. Lots of chocolate. Chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
I started watching this last night. I had never seen it before. And I started watching it when my wife was getting ready for bed. And she came out and she goes, "Now you're finally watching a movie that's not terrible for the show that you do. And I would have watched it with you if you had let me know." So in our house, the thumbs were up immediately, at least from Ari, my wife, who was disappointed that we did not get to spend a romantic 2 hours together watching Chocolat.
And that's it.
And I don't know, I was just going to let other people talk and then save some of my other stories for later because poor Jenny hasn't said a word.
I think it was beautiful. I really thought it was very beautiful. I was fully entertained. I was fully invested. The one negative aspect that I have is that it's from the studio and not the film perspective. So Johnny Depp's character is relatively small, comparatively speaking. He has 3 or 4 scenes. But because he was already a rising star, he suddenly becomes the face of the film.
Yes.
And great, fine, I get it. It sells. Pretty faces sell and big names sell. I totally understand that. But Dame Judi Dench, are you kidding me? There's not a bigger star than Dame Judi Dench. So it was the one minor thing I didn't like about it. But I understood why. It was get people here, get people to the cinema. They were also trying to make it look like a French film. And I think overall they did very well, but it's very American. There was only one French person, and that was the lead. But other than that, beautiful film. I enjoyed it. Yes.
Leslie Caron is French.
Yeah. The one, oh, was there two? There were two.
Yes, the lead and Leslie. Yeah.
There were 2 French actors.
Just to piggyback on what Richard Lale said, all of the advertisements and the categorization for this movie is romance. And the romance plays such a small part. I really felt like anybody could have done the Johnny Depp character and you wouldn't have noticed. It could have been any attractive male in the year 2000 and it would have been pretty much exactly the same movie. So I kind of felt lied to, but I felt lied to in a good way because I didn't want a romance. And I felt like the movie really was about the women in the film. And I wish that the advertising and the promotion had expressed that better.
Yeah, but then people might not have watched it. Like a bunch of girls talking, an older woman, of this and that. They're going to come see Johnny Depp and beautiful Juliette Binoche eating candy. I get it. And then they get there and then they see what a beautiful movie is about women and relationships. Marketing. Marketing. It's it.
You're not wrong.
No. I liked it. I thought I had seen it. And then as I was watching it, I was like, oh, actually, I don't think I have. And I thought I'd seen like basically every Johnny Depp movie. And yeah, I was like, when's he appearing? I'm like pausing the movie. I'm like, it's almost an hour until he actually shows up. But yeah, I liked it. I felt like this got such a Practical Magic vibe, like a feel to it where it's like this, it's romantic in the way of it's like romanticizing life. Like it's like, quaint little town and everything's so pretty and all the chocolate looks so yummy and everybody's just like, I like these kind of movies where it's like people become family, like chosen family, and it's like romanticizing what life could be and in that way. And I don't know, I'm like a sucker for those kind of movies. I love like a cozy romance and a cozy feeling and that kind of thing. I just love to feel good. Saturday Night Live just put out like this whole fake commercial for like mom movies, and it was like a movie without conflict. And I'm like, yes, that's what I want. So there's conflict, but overall it's just like you leave and you feel good. Like you get to see the little kangaroo, and I was just like, this made me feel nice.
I want to piggyback on what Tabitha said about the North Wind. That actually was quite an impactful thought for me. There's a classic book. I can't remember who wrote it, but it's at the back of the North Wind. And my friend Mary Jane, it meant a lot to her, and she sent me that book, and I've read it. It is the North Wind basically guides and directs this young person, and the fact that they were brought in by the North Wind, I think there had to be some sort of connection there that they had to be. And I liked at the end that she gets up, spoiler alert, she gets up and goes to the window, and the wind is restless, and the wind calls for adventure, but for somebody else. I thought that was quite clever.
I think
I was surprised though. My expectations for the end of the film was that she and her daughter were going to leave and chase the North Wind, and then the chocolate shop would have gone to the woman who had been helping her with it, like she was an apprentice. And the whole point is that this woman goes from repressed town to repressed town, sharing the joys of chocolate, and then giving the chocolate shop to someone that she's helped in life or something.
I knew
That's how
you
I thought it.
Charlie
That's
and the
how I thought
Chocolate
it was going to
Factory.
end.
I knew you
Yeah.
liked Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Oh,
I knew it.
no,
I knew it.
no,
I knew it. You win,
no,
Charlie. You win.
no. I say to you, no.
Go.
We haven't seen him in a while.
No. I haven't had need for that until now.
I think there's some interesting things about this movie that I saw it back in the theater back in the day and absolutely loved it then. And Jenny, I completely agree. I love what I call small films. I call them small British films because the UK has a distinct ability to do these small films in a way that we don't see very often here in the US. And I have a ton of them. If I find them, I will force my partner to sit with me and watch them, and we watch them, and he gets through them. And I said, see, you could get through a movie that doesn't have funky lighting and John Wick and race cars and him. So, but no, we enjoy them, and there's a ton of them, and a lot of them have Dame Judi Dench is in them, and they're just warm and romantic in the way this one is. But yes, those are British and they do have a different feel. And if this was French, that ending would be different. If this was French, the feel would be a little bit different, a little bit smaller. Even just, and I say smaller not in a derogatory way. It's just the way the story for me is everything. It's character driven and the story is what matters, and everything else serves the story in absolute fashion. And that to me is such a nice story when it can be told like that. So I love this type of film. And we actually had cake with homemade chocolate drizzled on top of it while we were watching. It was quite delicious. Yes, I do like to bake and do kitchen magic. So I enjoyed this film in all capacities. I loved the actresses and actors. I loved the witchiness of it that was so subtle.
Yes.
That was suggested. It was more suggested in the book from what I understand, but it was here. Definitely here. And I'm going to read, I just like to read something real quick. This is Kitchen Witchery by Laurel Woodward. And she mentions in here in the Delight of Chocolate section. Let me find it. To the people of Central America, the cacao tree was a gift from the god Quetzalcoatl, as it contains compounds that induce a sense of well-being. So there is the lore. They connected the lore of the movie to the lore of it. They did some research in making that happen right there, the witchcraft. The only thing I wanted to say, and I think just adding this in, and this is just another side note, is that the Red Hoods today for me mean obviously constriction and repression due to another very famous book. So when I see them, I think of Red Hoods mean not Little Red Riding Hood anymore, which is probably more like people were thinking then, traveling hoods. But here it was, for me now, because of culture and changing, they remind me of that restricted. What was that?
Margaret Atwood.
Yes, Margaret Atwood, and that whole Handmaid's Tale, yes, and that whole thing, and so when I see it now, then it was a restriction for them. It was a symbol of their magic and their changing and all of that stuff. But for now, it's almost like how symbols change. When I saw it then, it meant something different. When I see it now, I see that restriction. I think of her taking the capes off and not wearing them anymore is her removing the shackles from this lifestyle that she was forced to have. And symbolically, yes, it was that too, but it has a bigger meaning now because of The Handmaid's Tale, because of the Margaret Atwood. So I think that's kind of interesting how a movie reads differently over time based on what's happened, based on other pieces of art that have come out, and how we change our relationship with a movie that way. That's what I wanted to say.
I want to go back to the chocolate for just a second. I am a chocoholic, my favorite food since I was born. And I must say, the best chocolate I have ever had chili pepper in it. I first time I was in a cake, and I was in New York City. I don't even remember what I was there for, who I was with, what I was seeing. all I remembered was that they said it was going to be this like pepper cake, and I'm like, ooh, and I could eat it every single day. You feel the magic just in that combination. So the magic is
Coffee too. Coffee too is really good blend with chocolate. If you're making a chocolate cake or chocolate, you add a little bit of coffee. You can't taste the coffee necessarily, but it brings out the flavor of the chocolate. That's magic.
that's magic.
In a magic spell, one of my favorites is to take the cocoa powder, not the sugared, but cocoa powder, and put it in the bath. Um, I blend it with vanilla and with honey and with goat milk and with oats. There's a whole thing. I come out smelling like fruit, like a cake, but um, the chocolate is really great in the bath because the caffeine does enliven and freshen the skin, and so there's a little amount of, even if you want to do romance magic, a little chocolate, some roses in your bath, perfect for romance magic.
A little tannis root, maybe,
Perfect.
in the chocolate.
I would be eating Richard Lale's bathwater. Like
I
if
know. I'm
walked in
I'm
on that.
eating chocolate and coffee.
Oh,
Like,
But you know what else? I actually add whenever I feel it, I add a bottle of champagne. Well, it's not champagne because it has to come from France, but bubbly. I don't drink, but I pour it, and that the effervescence, a little baking soda, a little tablespoon of salt, a cup of milk, a cup of cocoa, oats, cucumbers, roses, lavender, a little olive oil. You smell like a cake, but I love it.
that's more food than I have in my kitchen.
Right?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It's a wonderful bath to have. You should all consider them.
Mm.
Food
Yeah.
magic is amazing, and it's delicious too. For
That's
sure.
That's what got me on Master Chef, was magical cooking and the concept behind it. Even though I do not know what saute means, it got me cooking for Gordon Ramsay. Just the concept of magical cooking.
How do you fold it in? It says to fold it in. How do you fold in the cheese?
And I just, again, the characters is what I just fell in love with. Juliette Binoche, even the what's his name, the mayor guy. You wanted to hate him so bad, and then you couldn't. And yeah, I just it's so much deeper than what I get into in most of the movies that I watch, or more American seemingly movies.
Mhm.
I cared.
Yes.
I cared.
I liked how subtle the characterizations were, right? Because you don't know exactly what's going on with Alfred Molina's wife, other than she keeps extending her stay in Italy, but they never quite come out and say it. You know, sometimes I wondered if she was dead or something else, right? And he was pretending that she was alive, and then you just kind of find out that she ran away, which, you know, I'm oblivious, so it's probably obvious to the other four of you, but I just liked how they just let things sort of unspool slowly and didn't just jump right in. Because a lot of these movies, they just want, you know, to tell you everything about the character and you can kind of figure it out really fast. And here, everything was just leisurely, which was really nice. I liked that leisurely pace.
That's a small story.
I liked
Sorry.
the mayor. I didn't mean to interrupt. I liked the mayor too. I did feel sorry for him. You know, he's struggling with loneliness, and his wife is missing, and he is a repressed Catholic, and so he's trying to do the right thing, and yet at the same time, he is also very strict, and he's very traditional, and he makes an offhanded comment to the abuser of the woman who runs the cafe. Something must be done, and when the boat catches on fire, when Depp's pirate boat catches on fire, it's assumed, oh, it was just an act of God. But then the abuser comes back and he says, I did it because you told me to. And he says, no, you did not. I cannot have that on my consciousness. No, you need to leave this town, and you need to go away forever. You need to never come back. The only reason that you should even talk to me as if you're going to talk to the police and tell them what you did. Otherwise, don't ever talk to me. Don't ever come back. That's a paraphrase. But I liked that sort of, he realized the power that his words had. It was just an offhanded remark. Something has to be done. But the man was already on a rampage. So
Yeah.
I like that realization.
Yeah.
He had a nice character arc for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I was gonna say I liked the priest, like the young priest, and I liked that relationship where he's just like listening to him. He's like, okay, well, you're the count, you can write my sermons, and it's so insincere and it comes across so stilted. And then he finally writes his own message, and it's so sweet. And he's just like a sweet character. He was one of my favorite characters throughout. Just like his little innocent face when things would go on. He's looking in the chocolate shop and stuff. He was a fun one to see, like, kind of go through the film.
I liked the priest. I there. I'm gonna be a little personal. I liked the priest, maybe a little too much.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was interesting seeing a
feel that.
14-year-old priest. You know, I was surprised at how young the priest was at 14, but I thought he did a good job.
All right. So, did anybody get quotes without our Courtney? Did
I
anybody?
have two.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So my favorite was when the wife who had been abused saves her friend, and the husband had said she doesn't even know how to use a skillet, and she says, "Who says I can't use a skillet?" After hitting him in the head. That was so good. That was like, I love that. It's like such a redemption moment for her. And then earlier in the film, there's little boys like spying on the chocolate shop, and one says, "I hear she's an atheist," and the other boy says, "What's that?" And he says, "I don't know."
I don't know, but it's a bad thing.
And I thought those were really cute too.
And I
So-
think go ahead.
Heather. No,
No,
go
I
ahead.
was just thinking a little bit about the magic in this film again, and how it was so subtle. It had nothing to do with anything that was being presented at the time. We didn't see the words Wicca, or even, I don't even know if they actually
What did they say? Ancient.
they didn't say
French
witch.
witches?
No.
So I know what I think is interesting is that you have this planted idea that this magic came from this foreign land, which is common for U.S. films, and came through and then is actually in the chocolate. And I know that Joanna Harris said she wanted the magic to be practical. She wanted it to be real and practical. And the idea is magic is whatever you believe it is. She was quoted as saying that when she was talking about the magic and how that's important. I think it's more pronounced in the book again, but I think it's interesting. They did that round spinning thing, divination. I was like, okay, I like that idea. And then of course the kitchen magic, huge. But I think that was the limitation. Is that correct?
When they were setting up house, the mom is putting all these like what look like Mexican artifacts, and she hangs like a little red charm in the doorway, which, like, as a witch, I
That's
assume
right.
is for protection. But it's
Mhm.
not like, hey, this is for protection, it's like very like she's just hanging it up and just part of her routine. So I felt like she had like little altar spaces and little artifacts that, as like a witch, you're watching going, oh, I see, you're setting up all your spiritual tools. And it was very subtle. And I really appreciated, like, my husband uses the term whiz bang, like for like in your face actiony. So this had nothing of the sort. It was very like subdued.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They didn't call it out.
Magic.
What was
She
that?
wasn't Mary Poppins.
It was very
Right.
real magic.
Yeah.
Real.
Like,
And I
Yeah, it
there's
was
a-
recognizable.
Yeah.
yeah.
I love how she goes, "This is your favorite." And she, except through the Johnny Depp until the end of the hot chocolate. I like that little running, "This is your favorite."
And what's true is that kitchen witchery and using just food that people eat is as a basis for magic is one of the easiest, simplest things that we can do. My kids know if someone's sick, and first thing I'm going to do is cook up a pot of matzo ball soup, chicken soup from scratch, straight from the raw chicken. And yes, there is science behind why that's effective as a healing remedy, which is part of what was once called witchcraft anyway. But also I stir in it the love, and that's why I always tell them what's the secret ingredient is mama's love, And so I stir it Deosil, I do, spells, prayers, whatever you want to call it, over it. I put the energy into it. So I'm adding that. And that's a part of it too. So the chocolate on its own, and that's the book I have right there that's held up, Kitchen Witchery. So the chocolate on its own has scientific properties to, give off endorphins, make us feel good, but then you add that extra witchiness to it, it's even more powerful, as one of the characters and her husband found out.
Yes.
Yeah, and they have that whole, they show the cacao ceremony too. They harken back
Yeah.
to like how her parents met, and there's like an actual cacao ceremony, and it's very like spiritual and holy, and it's only men, because I did read that originally cacao was reserved for men because they thought women would just like couldn't handle all the virility, like it would make them go wild basically, and so it was reserved for men at first, especially like when it came to Europe. The men thought, oh, we cannot give this to the women because it'll just make them just crazy. And so I think that's kind of a funny history, because now it's like women women are associated with chocolate in a certain time of the month, like it's become more of a stereotypical female thing. So
That's funny.
Also, that flashback scene was so well done. It was one of my favorite parts of the entire movie, the way that they like told that story in such an economical amount of time, but I was
Yes.
totally invested in it. I would have watched that story just as a short film. I really, really liked that part of the movie. I thought it was great. Like, watch out for her because she'll just run off and leave you and chase the north wind, which is what she did. And then her daughter carries around her ashes for like another 20 years, which is creepy, but we're not really going to talk about that.
Did we ever know whose ashes those were, or did it matter?
Her mother's, I think,
Her
or her
mother.
grandmother's. I guess the
thought it
new
was-
book will tell us the details.
I thought it was her mom's,
I do too.
but I could be wrong. I thought it was her mom's.
I feel like she talked to her mom at one point and like touched the ashes, and that's how we
Yes.
associated it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You mentioned another book I saw in the chat, or I saw it come up somewhere, I think in the chat, because I can't see the chat anymore. Another Magic of Food book that talks about it. It's The Magic of Food, right, by Gwion Raven. I think you put it
Yeah.
up. That's another good one.
He is my favorite bromance, so I do have to
Yeah.
shout out Gui. And he's been on our show before.
Yeah, that's right. He has been. Yes, it is an excellent book. I don't have that one here, but that's another good. There's a ton of good books out there on this topic. So specifically chocolate and drinking chocolate, my favorite type of chocolate.
Is there a magic book on chocolate, a witchy book on chocolate itself? I know there's a lot of kitchen witchy books, but
I don't know if there's one dedicated to chocolate specifically. I may have to look into that. Patty?
Chocolate arts.
it would make sense for all the cooking shows I've done that I would write a cookbook.
That's true. You can even
And then it
teach us how to saute.
Yeah.
It would have things in the book like saute with question mark after it,
It's
in
like
parentheses, whatever that is. I don't know.
double boiler, right?
Mhm.
I know. All right. Well, we have not had one hexing tonight, one cursing, one evil eye. What is this? But so
Who are we?
Who
I
are
could-
we?
I
Spit
could say one. I could say one thing that would get me in trouble, though.
Okay.
I don't care for Johnny Depp a whole lot. So, like when
So
I
who's
saw
your-
him come on, I groaned a little bit, and I was like, okay, I'm just glad he's not in this movie too much. So there you go. Now we can have some conflict. I've given it to you. Lay it on me. Lay it on. This is my last show, everybody. I'm gonna be kicked out.
You've been replaced by Jenny C. Bell forever.
I
Yeah.
think you've said more controversial things than that. I'm guessing. That's
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
too terrible.
It's true.
Well, while we have you, do we have a Mankey movie minute moment?
Of course. And it's not just me trouncing Johnny Depp either. It's more nuanced than that. So I'll admit, though, before I start, when I found out that we were doing this movie, I didn't know what it was. And I thought we were doing like water for chocolate. Because when I hear Chocolat, I thought, oh, yeah, it's that Mexican movie where they all speak Spanish and it's called Chocolat. And it's like water for chocolate. And of course, that's not the case at all. But I will say I love the name Water for Chocolate because it's like the best deal in the world. Think about that exchange rate. Here's some tap water. Give me some chocolate, you idiot. But I digress. I shouldn't talk about that other movie. But, Chocolat, as we said, is kind of long. And as very little happens in this movie, actually, 2 hours is a lot of time to devote to a story that could be told in 20 minutes. But I like the ideas behind Chocolat. The idea that chocolate can be magical and change lives. In the movie, it transforms an entire French village from what I have to conclude is like 1759. But in my own experience, chocolate has never quite worked as powerfully as it does in this film. And if it did work the way it does in the movie, we should all immediately send high priced chocolates to all of the politicians who want to turn the world into the handmaid's tale. And there are a lot of those. But that's not really what I want to talk about. I don't want to talk about politics. I want to talk about an early scene in the film where a woman eats some chocolate and then somehow eating that chocolate makes her husband Randy and they end up boning. And you know someone is riding the bony pony because the couple in question don't close their bedroom curtains. This is a great idea. Chocolate leads to boobs and butts and boning. But I think history tells a different story. If chocolate really did lead to boobs and butts and boning, my luck would have been better in high school and college, especially after certain holidays. Sure, we don't go trick or treating at age 19 or in our early 20s so much, but there's always candy around on Halloween. There's the candy you give away and you have some left over. There's the candy someone at your house might have collected, or the candy that you just bought because it was on sale because it's Halloween. It's always there. But sadly, apparently, eating 3 fun-sized Twix bars and paying my once-a-year respects to Mr. Goodbar does not lead to Pound Town. I think this movie might be lying to me. And then, of course, there's Easter. Here you go. Eat this entire chocolate bunny with gross-tasting eyes made of burnt sugar. After eating one of those monstrosities, at least according to this movie, it should be time to irrigate the garden and plant the zucchini. But alas, the Sunday afternoon of Easter does not turn into a holiday full of maenads and centaurs running in the town square. Where is the chocolat magic that this movie promises? And of course, that leads us to Valentine's Day, a day where you give your paramour or your beloved, or possibly both back when my life was more complicated, a box of chocolates in a sexy heart-shaped box. Perhaps the magic only works if you buy your chocolates at a French chocolate shop run by a woman who makes most of her major life choices by simply following the north wind. Are my waxy chocolates from Walgreens with their mystery fillings just not good enough? Where is my bacchanalia? Where is my chocolate-induced orgy? I don't have a ton of hang-ups. I'm just looking to release the Kraken in the presence of 3 or 4 super hot French wives and or French widows. Where is the chocolat to make that scenario a reality? I am super glad Chocolate got Dr. Octopus over his hang-ups, but it's shame, and it's a huge shame, that it hasn't led me to more bang-ups, if you know what I mean. Boom.
Beautiful. Always so different, always so clever. Thank you. All
Always
right.
something.
That is beautiful. So I guess the next thing to do is, this might even be a first. We will see. We never know how somebody's really going to vote, though. Find a wand. Okay, I'm going to do it with a chocolate bar. Wands up, wands down. This is dripping everywhere.
No, I'm just kidding.
The first hexing of the night was about to happen.
We are at full attention. We are correct and high chocolate yum. Okay, you guys in the chat room, we want to know, do you know Call Me Chris and Selena Spooky? Do you know Call Me Chris, Selena Spooky? Oh, I could answer that later. Selena Spooky Boo, I think. I don't know. We're voting. Vote. Wands up, wands down. Chocolate up, chocolate down. This has been leaking all over my desk right here because it broke. I haven't even got a real bite of it yet because it's just sitting in my teeth. Wands down for a movie that tells to blame witches and not sugar for Ozempic. But I must say, if you do enough Ozempic, you could eat all the chocolate you want because you don't need anything else. Not that I'm speaking from experience. Chocolate up. Oh, this is so good. Okay. One's up. We've had one
One's down.
Velvet. Why? Velvet Laurent. Why? But I can see a wand up. Okay, go Robert. Yeah, maybe it is too much of a small romantic movie for some people, but help me. I've stayed awake. All right, I'm sticky. Do we know what we're watching next week?
The Bride from with Christian Bale. I believe that's the new one.
Yeah, it is.
Mm-hmm. The
The one
Bride.
that Maggie Gyllenhaal. It's like her movie. Yeah.
2026.
Brand new movie. Okay, good. All right. We have 9 minutes. What do we want to talk about? Magic, food, chocolate, goats. Hey, you guys, you can have goats too. Everybody out there, just go to Mystery Control, as Richard Lale said, because you can get plain black fillet, or you can get bling black fillet. Wait, he's wearing his backwards. Bling black fillet. Some of us have Private and Beautiful Scarves by Heather Green, but you can't have those.
I have a question for everybody, and everybody in the chat can chime in. Is one, what is your favorite piece of chocolate? Because Juliette Binoche knows, but I don't. So what is your favorite? And also, what is your go-to Johnny Depp movie? So
I want to share. So this is local to me. Cocoa and Craft Chocolate. It's from a person who just graduated high school, I think 2 years ago. And they're a local chocolatier in Ashland, Oregon. And so we've become really big fans of this person's work, and they make an Earl Grey chocolate. That is my favorite. I have not had this one yet. This one's called Oh Happy Day, smooth, creamy, dark, full-bodied chocolate with sea salt. But the Earl Grey one, because Earl Grey is my favorite tea, dark chocolate's my favorite food, and then together, it's perfect for me. So that's my favorite chocolate.
And Johnny Depp movie?
Oh, so I really love him. I'm going to say toss up between Crybaby and Edward Scissorhands, because I love John Waters and I love Tim Burton. So it's a hard one.
Who's next? Jason.
My favorite chocolate would be a dark chocolate with a caramel center sprinkled with sea salt, because the salt is really what makes things, right? Like, perfection. Hopefully with a nice glass of whiskey on the side, because of the way the mouth feels, the coating on the mouth feels perfection. My favorite Johnny Depp movie is probably something else. It's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. It's me watching a different film. Maybe the first Pirates of the Caribbean, because the soundtrack is so great. But it's just not my thing. It's not my thing.
It's not his thing. Okay. I like dark chocolate as well. I don't have a specific brand, but I do like fancy chocolate. I had to get gas station chocolate today because that's the 5 minutes I had. But I did a nice Cadbury caramel within that, and Whoppers just because they're Whoppers. But I do like dark chocolate, and I do like well-made fancy chocolate, going someplace fancy. And I do like a little caramel, and I do like a little salt. I don't like when they get and I like liquor chocolates that you get in those funny Christmas things, the ones that have different kinds of liquor in them, because I liked those when I was a little kid.
Me too.
Yeah. Little bottles of whiskey. And See's the California staple, See's chocolate. That is ours. We own that. So See's are the best. And my favorite Johnny Depp movie, I actually think it was Guilford Grape is when I actually first discovered him. That's figuring out who is this kid. He was a kid.
I guess, yeah. Oh no, Richard Lale hasn't gone.
I didn't go. My favorite chocolate, I don't know. I guess Devil's Food Cake. I guess I don't know. I don't know. What's my favorite Johnny Depp movie?
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
I mean, I like it.
Lone Ranger.
Yes.
Dark Shadows.
I do like Dark Shadows. I don't know. I liked Edward Scissorhands. I like Dark Shadows. I like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I liked them. I don't know that I have a favorite. I don't know. I'm boring.
Never.
That is not true.
That's Nightmare on Elm Street, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like his first
Crazy.
movie.
Maybe
All right.
that's my
Who
favorite.
hasn't gone? Have you gone? You haven't gone, Heather.
Heather.
Oh, I'm a dark chocolate fan. I won't eat I won't eat it if it's not I don't eat I'm not a big chocolate fan, so I love the dark chocolate and I like it when it's fancy. I do like drinking chocolate, which is having it in Italy when I was living in France was the best, and I can't get that out of my mind of how amazing that was. That was the best drinking chocolate ever. And but I do like just like a little treat of dark chocolate, almonds, maybe a little sea salt. Oh, that's a horrible photo. That's my homemade chocolate sauce over my homemade whipped cream in the cake. So with a strawberry. So but it wasn't meant to be photographed for the world to see, so it's not very pretty, but it was delicious. My favorite Johnny Depp, I remember discovering him with Benny and June, so I always think of the movie Benny and June. And I also love Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. But I love Johnny Depp, so I will watch him anytime he's in anything. I think he's one of the best actors that we have. He's brilliant. So I will watch anything that he's in, except I don't like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I'm like Jason on that one. He can
So
go
your
pound
favorite
sand on
is-
that one.
So you're going to stand by the Lone Ranger, is what you're telling me.
I will stand by. I haven't seen the Lone Ranger, honestly. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to get back to you on that one. But I didn't.
just like to remind people
don't-
that movie exists. And he plays Tonto. It's not defensible in any way.
I
just
just think
not.
he's so brilliant.
They do too.
No,
I agree.
I haven't seen it. So I'm glad I haven't then.
All right. Does anybody have anything good coming up in this next week or two that or whatever that they want to talk about? Okay. This weekend I will be at Pennhurst, Pennsylvania for it's the big granddaddy of the Paracons. I am speaking with Jay Wasley of Ghost Adventures. I'm doing both nights of the Celebrity Ghost Hunt. I'm going to be selling goods in where it's too hot and too cold and too rainy and too much fun and Pennhurst. So I'm really excited. So if you're anywhere near that area, come on down. You and like 60,000 of your favorite friends. It's really fun. So that's what I've got. And this new book coming out, Jenny C's Bell's new book coming out.
Very exciting. It's very tiny. It's like a pocket-sized book. I'm excited.
That's
Adorable.
all right. I cut you off, Richard Lael.
Just as a reminder, everybody, next week, The Bride. Just in case you forgot, because I did.
I will still not remember. In 2 days or 3 days, we'll all be in the chat room going, what movie were we doing again?
The Bride. We'll say it again. The Bride. The Bride, the Bride, the Bride, the Bride. Here comes the Bride, the Bride, the Bride.
Yeah. So, all right. It is that time. We are down to that last minute. Make sure chocolate is cleared from our throats and teeth and tongue. Mine isn't. So, we should have all had some hot chocolate too.
We're all gonna laugh like this.
We'll be at Belgrove and King George, VA with Sam Beltrusis next weekend. We love Sam Beltrusis, paranormal staple in our business. So go see Tabitha at Belgrove in King George, Virginia. So, and that's it. You guys, please like us and follow us on social media and YouTube. Tell your friends about us and watch the movies when we tell you to, please.
It's demanding tonight.
And you won't get hit.
She
And we
is.
wish you well, Courtney. Come back, get healthy, stay away from children.
It's tough in her profession.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Yeah!